Hey, I'm Kai, and somehow I totally missed this Fractal update. I may be a little bit late to the game, but I'm going to be checking out all of the brand new features in the version 11 beta. While this update is a lot smaller than the version 10 update I checked out recently, it's still got a few cool things that I can check out in this video. As this is a beta version, I should say, just install at your own risk. Don't install it if you've got a big gig coming up or anything like that. As I said, this is a pretty minor update. All of the amps have received modelling tweaks to be more realistic, as is pretty par for the course with Fractal updates. Some models like the PV6505 have received specific updates to fix things like the knob tapers on the presence control. The main thing I'm going to be going through in this video though is going to be the brand new models, the first of which being the Supro Black Magick. This is a pretty mid-priced amp built to replicate Jimmy Page's classic Supro. Now as far as I can tell, this is an official model and an official collaboration, as they're using the original name in the Fractal. We also have a model of the JHS Angry Charlie, known to the version 11 update as the Angry Chuck. This is a distortion pedal that's made to emulate the sound of a JCM 800. It's sort of funny to have an amp in a box pedal modelled in a modeler that also models amps, but I guess it's there for those people who like it. The pedal does have a character and charm all of its own that we'll hear later on. The last addition we have for this update is the Greer Lightspeed model. This is a super hyped up modern overdrive pedal. You'll often see this pedal alongside the Brown Protein and a Strymon pedal of some description on a custom wooden hinged pedal board. All jokes aside though, the Greer Lightspeed does get an absolute ton of love, so it's good that we've got it in the Fractal. I'm going to start by introducing the new amplifier going through the recommended 1x12 Dynacab. This is the deluxe tweed cabinet, which I believe has a Jensen speaker in it. I personally prefer how this amp sounds through a bigger cabinet, but we will hear it through the 1x12 before moving over to a 4x12. As for the amp itself, there really isn't all that much to work with. You have a gain knob, you have a tone knob, and you obviously have the overall level compensation. I'm going to start by just generally going through the range of gain this amp has available. With this one dial back to the mid-gain setting, we can go through the tone knob a bit more. This goes all the way from that vintage, sputtery sort of dark sound, all the way up to a modern, chimey, bright thing. It's actually got a fair amount of range considering you only have the two knobs to play with. While we're going through the 1x12, I just want to do one more dialed in sort of tone for this. This is going to be a low gain, emo-y kind of thing on the neck pickup. Let's now hear this amp through a 4x12 instead. This is the Mega Green Impulse Response by ML Soundlab. I'm not going to run through the whole range of gain again, as there are quite a few things I would like to get through in this video. Let's just hear this one on a mid-gain crunchy kind of thing. also really like this amplifier boosted, especially when we're using the 4x12 impulse response. I'm going to boost this with the 77 custom OD that was added in the previous update. Onto the Angry Chuck now, and since this is replicating a high gain amplifier, it's best to run it through a clean amp so that we can really hear what it's doing. I've got the Fractal original Class A amp here as my clean amp, so let's hear what that's doing before we add the pedal in. Yeah, just super clean, super basic sounding, but it should be a good platform for the Angry Chuck. There's quite a lot of control on this pedal, which isn't too uncommon for a distortion pedal. You have a drive knob and you also have a 3-band EQ. Let's hear what it sounds like at noon, and then I'll just quickly sweep through to dial this one in. I'm going to dial something in for a super low gain rock thing to start with, and we're going to need the drive down super low on this pedal. Since we are setting the drive quite low, we can afford to push up the bass as it will give us a little bit more thickness. The mids are really narrow on this one. I find them super sharp, almost like a cocked wire kind of thing. If we pump these up and push the drive up, we may be able to get some pretty extreme sounds going. Okay, I think I know why they've dialed the mids in to be where they are. It's really the area where the guitar starts to cut through, and it really works for lead tones. Before we move over to the other drive block added in this update, I think I'd like to try out the Angry Chuck through my personal favourite pedal platform amp in the Fractal, the High Power. This is a pretty mid-gain, plexi-ish kind of thing that pairs really nicely with pedals but does get quite fuzzy quite fast. That's actually kind of what I like about it. like that. It's got a little bit of snarl to it, it's a little bit aggressive, but it doesn't sound too metal, which I quite like. Now the final new model that I'm checking out in this video is the Greer Lightspeed, or otherwise known as in this update, the Guardian Photon Speed. We'll run the tone right back to the tone I started with, the Black Magick with the 1x12, and we'll hear what this boost is doing. The best way to start is probably to hear the range of gain that this drive has available. I actually really like what that's doing when the gain's up high. It's really nice and vintagey sounding. A lot of people use the Greer Lightspeed in real life as a sort of always on clean boost just to add a little bit of sparkle. Let's see if I can replicate some of that magic as a transparent boost in front of this Supro. I've got it dialed into where I would consider it to be a sort of transparent-ish boost where it adds a little bit of something. Let's hear it before and after. You know what, I think there is something to that maybe. Now we're going to go through the high watt model again and see what it's adding to that. Normally I would use a transparent clean boost in conjunction with other pedals, but today we're just going to try it straight into the amp. Yeah, I just really like how this sounds. I'm usually not one for a transparent boost kind of thing unless it's in a metal context, but maybe it's something I have to explore a little bit more. Speaking of metal context, I do of course have to see how this boost does with high gain. For this setup, I'm running out from my PRS S2 into the Solo 100 lead model in the Fractal, and then I'm running out to the mega oversized cabinet by ML Soundlab. We'll set the gain on the pedal all the way down, we'll turn the level up to where it's just starting to push the amp a little bit, and then we'll tweak the tone to taste. I do think this overdrive sounds pretty soft when you run it into a high gain amp, but obviously that's not what it was designed for, it's just something I wanted to check out. Let's hear it quickly A-B'd against the TC integrated preamp that I've recently been enjoying from the last update. Overall, I'd say that this update is a super solid update, especially considering it's only been a couple of months since the last one. For most companies, an update featuring 3 new models would come maybe once every 8 months or so, but for Fractal this is such a frequent occurrence. As far as the actual model goes, I think I can see myself using the Supro whenever I want a small combo push to the brink kind of sound. It may also be a good one for effects heavy presets since it did take pedals quite nicely. If that's something you would like to see me dive into a little bit deeper, let me know in the comment section down below. I don't think I can really see myself using the Angry Chuck all that much since it's a model of a pedal that's based on an amp that's already in the unit. I think there are lots of other drive pedals I would have preferred to have added prior to the Angry Chuck. Distortion pedals do sound different to real amps though, even distortion pedals that are made to simulate real amps. And I suppose 90% of people would probably prefer the real amp, but this pedal is there for the 10% that prefer the pedal. The Lightspeed is actually the real standout of this update to me, which is quite surprising and why I'm really glad that I do these run-through videos. It's probably not one that I would have clicked on had I not done a demo on it, which is why I'm really glad I do this. I found myself really enjoying it for those always on, sparkly, edge of breakup kind of things, exactly what they're used for in the praise and worship scene. Also, it looks like the FM3 just received some pretty major pitch shifting updates, so hopefully that's something we see in the next Fractal FM3 update. That's all for this video, so thank you ever so much for sticking around to the end. Let me know what you thought of it in the comment section down below, and let me know which one of these new models was your favourite. Don't forget to use my Toman affiliate link if you are ever shopping at Toman, as this does give me a nice little kickback without costing you a thing. Also, if you would like to come and hang out in my Discord, there is a link in the description box down below, and everyone is welcome. Until next time though, I've been Kai.